I can absolutely guarantee that you and every man your age has played at least a little bit of video games. In the category of either adventure games, role-playing games where you play as a character, and games that I call upgrade or progress games, where you face opponents, overcome challenge and achieve progress. Or a mix of all of them. And it is the same reason why video games are so fun that makes them so dangerous to men like you. But surely they can't be that bad. If I know to do the hard things and I actually do them, it can't be that harmful because I'll only lose a bit of time and I'll spend that time relaxing and having fun. Trust me when I say that video games are harmful beyond your belief and they can even take your soul from you in some cases. So I'm going to go through the video games that I played when I was young and explain exactly why they were so harmful to me. But watch this video in its entirety and tell me how much of this has happened to you as well and how much you can relate with. So these are the real dangers of video games. And to put together simply and sum up the main point of this, is that video games simulate the most crucially important things in life to men. And making those things completely unimportant to the men who play video games because they get a watered down version of that in the virtual world. I have certainly made this mistake and I've stretched it on for several years on end. And you probably have as well. And yes, it is technically our fault, but what other choice did we have? Our parents did keep saying to go do homework or go socialise instead. But why would we do that? Because if we were to go into the virtual world, we would get all the things that we want and we would feel so much better than in real life. No one truly explained the extent of the dangers of video games. And so we just kept doing what we feel like, because that's what all teenagers do. We just kept playing video games because we got a nice feeling from it, and a feeling that we didn't get in real life. I know that for me, I certainly wasn't worried about what my future life would be like when I was 14. All I was worried about was how many kills I would get in my next team deathmatch, or how many wins I would get in my next simulated Premier League season, or even what type of porn I was going to watch later. The type of things that men want to get from real life but turn to video games to get instead are things like brotherhood, making progress, overcoming challenges, and having a purpose or an end goal. And some of the games that I played that gave me that false sense of achievement were the games like FIFA, NBA 2K, Call of Duty, Minecraft, Red Dead Redemption, and Fallout 4. And so what is it exactly about these games that makes them so dangerous? Let's get into that. FIFA and NBA 2K are easy to explain how they would give you a false sense of achievement. Both symbolize purpose, which is to build up the best team and then win the biggest and most competitive trophy and then have the trophy as your own as a reward. They both symbolize progress by having you build up towards the purpose or big end goal, by trying to rank higher and higher in the table or getting further and further in the tournament. They both symbolize brotherhood by having teammates and having a group of friends to play with and get that false sense of achievement. And of course they both try to symbolize challenge by playing and trying to absolutely dominate the other teams. And something that I find quite interesting is that the entire time that I played those two games, I have always been quite nervous to play against other real life players. And I think that directly points to a lack of masculinity in my younger years. To the point where I would even fear to compete with others in the virtual world. Because I didn't want to lose or get absolutely thrashed in a game and then the other person laugh at me or send me a mean message. And then let's talk about Minecraft, Red Dead Redemption and Fallout 4. They all symbolize progress by you improving, getting stronger and upgrading yourself. They symbolize brotherhood by having a group of friends to play with and get that false sense of achievement. Or even with the in-game characters that you can interact with and build a stronger relationship with. Of course excluding Minecraft. And they do all symbolize overcoming challenge by fighting enemies and gathering loot. And they don't really symbolize purpose because they are big open world games that have a storyline, but you can't keep playing after the story ends. So there is kind of purpose by completing missions or the main storyline, but after that there isn't really. And the thing about these games is that they are open world adventure games that you can nearly do anything in. And these type of games would of course draw a lot of people in, because you can literally do anything you want. And you would probably do things that you would never do in real life without having to put in a single bit of effort. And the type of things that I will be talking about is becoming important, gaining status, making money, those type of things. But more so in Red Dead Redemption, that game was made to be realistic. There are severe consequences for your actions, there are laws and you can't break the laws of physics. In that game your beard grows, you can get fat or skinny and you can even have a bath to clean yourself off. But I do understand that some people would find it fun. Fat stinky losers who haven't showered in 2 weeks who find it fun to bath in a game. Why would you play and spend so much time in a virtual world that is made to be like real life when you could just go out into real life and achieve all those same things that would feel even better? Oh, in the game you can level up your skills, get better with the guns that you use most, provide for your tribe and even own your own horses. But you can do nearly the exact same thing in real life. you can level up yourself as a person, get better at talking to people, provide for your close ones and own your own cars, or even horses if you want. But of course that is too intimidating and too scary for some people, so they would just stick in the virtual world even if it feels worse. And in addition to that, in the game you're this badass outlaw who can do everything and anything that he wants, and is feared by some and loved and respected by the rest. And tell me, what man wouldn't love to be like that? So it is very clear to me that an open world adventure role-playing game like this can undoubtedly replace everything important to achieve in a man's life. But it's also why so many people love games like that. They know that once they go into the game, they will take on this identity of the main character and be able to play in a world that was designed to be real, and so that the man can feel like what he's doing in the game is important and real. When of course, it is absolutely not. A game like Call of Duty symbolises purpose, which is to become the best player on your team, keep taking your team to victory, and become Master Prestige. It symbolises progress by you playing the objective and killing other players, earning XP and leveling up closer to Master Prestige. It symbolises brotherhood by having a group of friends to play with and get the full sense of achievement with, and also by building a relationship with the characters from the campaign. And of course it symbolises a challenge by you playing and trying to dominate the other team. Most of the time that I spent playing Call of Duty was when I was really young, like 9 to 12 years old. And I never had a fear to compete like I did when I was older playing FIFA and NBA 2K. Which is likely because of the social conditioning that I experienced when I was 12 to 14 years old. But when I was 11, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 came out, and I became absolutely obsessed with that game. To the point where when I stopped playing it and moved on to playing other games, I had around 6 days of gameplay on multiplayer, and that isn't taking into account all the zombies and combat training that I played as well. So not only was it a lot of time, around 7 days, which add up to around 168 hours. But I also got the holy grail of COD games, which is to get Master Prestige. I'm certain that if you've played any COD at all, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you weren't Master Prestige, in the leaderboard it would only show your prestige level and your actual level. But once you got Master Prestige in Black Ops 2, the 10th Prestige logo and number changed into only a different logo and no number beside it. And even if the actual logo itself didn't look that nice and that it having no number looked kind of weird, you having that in that game would symbolise a lot of status. Because of course not everybody can achieve that, and the people who have achieved it means that they are good at the game at least to some extent, and will make some opponents nervous to play against them. And because I was such a lonely loser in real life, that's why I would keep getting drawn back into the game every single day. Because of course I had very high status in that game, and I wanted to keep feeling important. I remember around the time I got Master Prestige, I think I didn't tell my friends, and I waited until I joined a lobby with them and have them see it. I remember there was 4 of us in a lobby, and they saw that I was Master Prestige, got all excited, we talked for a bit, then we went into a game, and in the pre-game menu of course you can see your team and your opponent's team. And I think there was someone at a high level or another Master Prestige on the other team, and one of my friends said, "Oh, don't worry, we have a Master Prestige in our team." And although of course that's very insignificant and like a bit cringe, you understand the feeling, like you would feel so important that you're giving your team hope because you're so high status and so good at the game. But I wasn't good at the game, but of course I played a lot, and so it looked like I was good maybe. Alongside that, you were able to get diamond camo if you maxed out the levels on all of the guns in one category. And that would be another symbol of status, because not everybody could level up one gun to max level, let alone a whole category of guns. And I remember that I did get diamond camo on shotguns, snipers, rocket launchers and specials. And I would again feel a lot of pride when I would play the game and run about with my diamond sparkly guns. Because if I were to play against opponents and they either seen me with the gun or picked it up, they would know I mean business. Or if I was in a private match with my friends playing about and I was able to show off my sparkly guns to them. And what I find interesting is that I was so hooked into this game, and I valued myself so highly because I was better than some of the people from my school at this game. Because I would be playing with a friend or two, and then they would invite another friend who I don't really talk to, but they have Black Ops 2 and we can play, and then I absolutely dominate them and they were like, "Oh, you're so good," and I felt good about myself. I did feel really good about myself, that I was better at the game than other people that I knew, and I felt like I had something above them because of that. But thinking back to it now and realising that the people who weren't that good at video games and weren't good at Black Ops 2 and were worse than me, they spent all of their time making friends, playing sports, talking to girls, while I sat inside being stinky and playing video games. And of course I realise now that they did the right thing by doing things that will make life easier for them and better for them in the future, because they were building up their in real life status while I was not. So all in all, adventure games take away your need to adventure by letting you adventure virtually, leaving you stuck inside, keeping you as an uninteresting stinky loser. Role-playing games take away your need to become important and successful by letting you do that virtually. And games that allow you to face opponents, overcome challenge and achieve progress take away your need to compete and dominate by letting you do that in the virtual world. And if a video game has 2 or even 3 of those points, then the more the man will get sucked into it, and the more and more miserable that man's life will become. So what could be the possible antidote for video games? Become important, successful, strong, attractive, smart, and do a lot of interesting things. Let's put together a hypothetical scenario and think about it. If you were making £50,000 a month, had supercars lining your driveway, had beautiful women wanting you, went on holidays every month, had become more successful than everybody you know, and people just love seeing you and listening to you, would you still want to play video games as much as you do right now? Of course you wouldn't, because video games will never feel as good as the current life that you're living, because video games will try to simulate all the things that you have now. So video games are basically just a replacement for all of the things that you want from life but are too scared to try to achieve. And you may think to yourself, why should I stop playing video games if they give me all of the things that I want from life when it is too hard to achieve those things in real life? The reason being that when you set out to achieve those things, go through the process, put in hard work, and then actually achieve those things, you become the absolute best version of yourself. You become a strong and important person for your closest people. You make your tribe stronger. You make the world a better place. And you're able to pass on all of that greatness onto the next generation, being your children. So instead of continuing to play video games and letting yourself rot from the inside out, chase the real things that you want from life, and chase them with as much curiosity as you do video games. Find out what resonates with you. If you like FIFA, for example, you probably resonate with overcoming competition or even sports directly. If you like Fallout 4 or Red Dead Redemption, you probably really resonate with becoming important and having done a lot of great things. So you would probably resonate with trying to solve a problem, becoming better at solving that problem, and getting money for that. Because every single job in the world boils down to solving a problem. A footballer solves the problem to boredom. I solve the problem to men having miserable lives. A chef solves the problem to people being hungry. And even a traffic warden solves the problem to people not following the law. Any and every single job at least solves some problem. And what you need to do is figure out what type of problem that you want to solve. This will not come easy nor fast. And what you need to do is stop stimulating yourself. Put away all distractions, look at your blankest wall and think. Because the purpose to your life or finding what really resonates with you will not come from watching someone else speak or by reading the thoughts of someone else. It will come to you when you sit in silence and have no external stimulation at all. And so after you've watched this video, I want you to do just that. And if it so happens that by chance you're still not getting it, the first link in the description contains a link that you can use to book a coaching call with me. And you can book a call with me so that I can help you find your purpose in life. Since with enough time and attention, anything can become a reality.